And then I'm going to record our meeting so that we have it. Cool.
Yeah. So that it's like directly, so that I'm not like looking to the side.
All right, we're live on the YouTubes. How crazy! I'm getting used to being on camera. I don't think people were prepared in COVID to see so much of my face. That's the nice thing about being on a podcast, is like I can hide behind it just being audio, but not anymore.
You got a good face for it, Fabian.
I don't know about that. So thank you guys for agreeing to do this. We have some repeat guests with us today. Andrea and Ryan Hunley are joining us. So I'll give you a round of applause. Yes, second time on the show together as a couple. I love it. I think you guys are one of the few couples that we've had come on the show. I know like Sarah Jean and Joey Potts were on as a duo, and I can't really think of too many others that were. So it's a small club.
All right, I like it.
But yeah, welcome back. We're doing this YouTube live thing since social distancing. I can't even talk. Social distancing is still a thing that we all need to be taking very seriously. How are you guys dealing with everything?
We're hanging in there. We have food and we're healthy and we're all together. So we can't complain on that front. There are people that have it a lot worse than that.
Oh,
and as someone who is a homebody and and quite introverted, I'm enjoying just not having to make excuses for not going places.
And so you guys recently moved. Are like, when you start to think back about that, like, is that a decision that like, man, that happened at the right time or that happened at the wrong time? Like, is moving from where you guys were downtown, like in retrospect, was that like a really good decision right now?
Well, I'll tell you, I would have been super anxious being in a condo building, because I would have thought about, going to get the mail, how to elevator without touching all the buttons. Did someone just cough in here? Like my mind would have just been, a swirl of anxiety. And so getting to be kind of in our own little air pocket has made my anxiety lessen and made me realize how fortunate we are that we, can live in a single family dwelling.
Right. How far are you guys from downtown now?
We still walk to Mass Ave. It's just like a couple blocks.
Pretty close. That's awesome.
Yeah, we just moved to Cottage Home area, so really close.
I'm still waiting for my invitation to come get dinner, so that's why I didn't know where you're at.
This is my ideal housewarming party, like through Zoom or YouTube Live.
Where you can only show people like one certain part of your house, and like, this is all you get to see.
Right.
So we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording, before I hit go live, just in terms of how schools are handling this entire situation. You as a principal, someone that works in the school system, what are some things that people need to know? And I'm obviously in the dark because I don't have kids. So school's like the furthest thing from my mind. I don't have any brothers or sisters or nephews that go to the school system out here, but can you talk a little bit about what's going on?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you that the theme is we're all in it together and we're all doing our best. And I think that goes for administrators, parents, kids, teachers, everybody. And I think that we just all need to be giving each other a lot of grace now, because we are in really uncharted waters. I have never been more proud to be a part of the public school system. IPS specifically is doing some really amazing things, serving tons of kids, providing, in partnership with cleaners, providing meal kits out to families 2 times a week, and then lunches every single day. But then beyond that, right now we're packing up laptops to be mailed out in the post to all of our high school students and some of our middle schoolers who are taking high school courses. And so I know that, that was something in my building. Like, we went into our school, we packed up all of our laptops so that we could send them over to the high school so they could mail them out. we're trying to think of what's the fastest and the safest way to ensure that all of our kids have the materials that they need. And then they also mailed out homeschool or home learning packets to all of the kids who are in kindergarten through 8th grade as well. And so we're just being really innovative in this time. It's kind of forced us to be innovative. I mean, just the ways that my teachers are staying in touch with students, like they're posting lessons online that are like how to make scrambled eggs at home, right? So that's like getting to math. It's getting to following directions, but it's also, building up confidence in kids, helping them feel like they have some control in this time that, that causes a lot of anxiety because there's a lack of control. And then it's also encouraging them helpers at home, because parents right now, are trying to wear many hats, and we're trying to help them balance that as well.
And you touched on having to be innovative and your hand being forced to have to do things. Do you think that this will have an impact that will create change for things to come in the future, right? So like you think about like snow days or extended periods of time where kids can't go back into school, like our processes being set up now during this time that you think will be used for later times, say next year when school comes back in session?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that that just having different ways to communicate with families too. We've been so guarded with boundaries for very good reasons in school, but I think that we're pushing up against some of those and questioning some of those norms. Like if kids need to text message a teacher to ask a question to get support in real time, teachers can set up a Google Voice account so that they can do that. There are just all these different ways that that I think that it's really going to benefit kids in the long run, and that their teachers are being forced to be more innovative, and that we're being forced to look at kind of some policies and practices that we've had in place before and really question them.
Gotcha. And the school year has been canceled for like the rest of the year, right? Like this whole I don't know what it's called, semesters. I don't even know anymore. But the rest of the school year
Yeah,
is like done
we have
for, right?
to go 20 more school days. So our school year will end sometime, in the coming weeks, but they've officially said no more in-person learning for the rest of the year.
And so have they launched an at-home learning like curriculum? Like how is that being, I guess, being taught amongst all those different grade levels, right?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible actually. So they've sent out for high schoolers, it's all online. But for the other kiddos, they've actually mailed out packets to every child that has lesson plans in it. And then the kids go online for supplemental instruction. So for mini lessons, directions, from their classroom teacher. But every kiddo in IPS has the same kind of lessons that have been done.
And so and these are all being graded, like how does that even work? Like how are grades gonna work for the remainder of this school year? And like what kind of an impact does that have when they come back for the next school?
Well, these are all great questions that we're trying to answer right now. Um, and this is definitely going to have a big impact though on next school year. And honestly, I think that the impact that I'm most concerned about isn't our kids falling behind in the math skills that we want them to learn. Are they falling behind in their reading? It's really about the social emotional impact that it's going to have, because we know that that home lives really impact kids. We know that the experiences that are really impact kids. And for students who are, in a home right now where there isn't a lot of structure, where that schedule, that can be really anxiety producing. Kids who are in families where there may be, drug or alcohol abuse, or there may be domestic violence, or those types of things. And so I'm really concerned about what this extended time apart is going to mean emotionally for kids, and how we're going to transition kids back to school after they've had this challenging time.
Right. And I know that it's easy to focus on like some of those like more not difficult but like negative swinging questions, but I'm sure that you're in communication a lot with parents, other teachers, administrators. What are some of the positives? Like what are some of the things that you've been hearing that people have enjoyed about having their kids back at home, or having to teach them how to do some of these things while they're at home?
Yeah, so some of the things have been like families really getting into some hobbies together. We've got families who are teaching their kids, even as young as preschool or kindergarten, how to sew, and so they're doing that together. We, as a school, we had an assembly online last Friday, and we had almost 400 students log in to our virtual assembly, and we all sang songs together and celebrated birthdays, and that was just really great to kind of create this sense of normalcy during this time. But the little chat box was open, and so as kids were logging in, they were saying things like, "I miss you, I wish I knew hi to this person and that person." And so before the meeting even started, I was like trying not to cry, because I'm just watching all of these kids say love and miss all of their friends and teachers.
That's awesome. And I mean, you guys are parents, right? So what has it been like having this extra time with your kids at
Oh, I mean, I think what Andrea was saying about grace sort of applies on a system level, like she's talking about, and even inside the walls of our own house. This is uncharted territory for us, and even being married to an educator, there are challenges in following a schedule, and some days it doesn't go quite like we planned it with learning at home. But I'm also trying to see it as an opportunity to focus on what's most days I get to see my kids, or we get for 2 or 3 hours at the most. So I feel like I'm learning things about them I never knew, and interacting with them in new ways, and we're all kind of growing together through this. So seeing it as an opportunity to deepen and strengthen that relationship, I think has been really interesting. We're doing a lot of creative activities, I guess, together as a family. So prank wars and cooking contests. And like Andrea was saying, education doesn't all need to be around paper and pencil. When they're cooking with us, they're measuring. They were helping me with invoicing the other day. Like, that's math. Like, we just kind of get it in where it fits in sometimes.
Let's talk about that prank war for a minute. So this was not a parent idea. This was a child idea. And the first prank was that they put glitter in the sock drawer. Now, if you know anything about glitter, it does not come out. So there's like a glitter footprints all over our house. And then, let's see, they did salt on our toothbrushes as another prank. They were just really, so we got them back in the middle of the night. We snuck in and drew mustaches on them with marker. There's the goofballs right now, little pranksters.
All right.
So we have been having fun though with our little prank war.
So that first night though, after they did tape over the water in the bathroom, like Scotch tape, so it sprayed all over us. So that night I got markers out and I drew all over their faces, because you don't look in the mirror till about 11:30. Oh, you said that? Sorry. Whoops. Then the next one is they have their own rooms now for the first time. So tonight we're gonna get into Addie's room and move all her shit out of her room while she's asleep.
That's going to be awesome. Please video that.
Yes, we'll see.
Live reaction. I think, we think a lot about the silver linings in situations like this. You try to make the best out of every situation. And, one of the things that I've said is like, I've been married to my wife. We've been together for 10 years, but it feels like I've never spent this much time, like in these last 2 weeks, I've spent more time with her than I have over these last 10 years of our relationship. So is there anything that you guys have learned about each other? Maybe it could be good or bad, right? It could be a bad habit, or like something that annoys the other person, or something you're like, man, that's really endearing. That's really cute. I didn't know that you did that. Or something that you guys learned that, you enjoyed together more than you had thought previously.
Well, we really like playing games together, and this also kind of reminds me back to like our very first year being married, where I don't know, I read somewhere online about this couple that did this challenge to not have a television for a year, and so our first year of marriage, we didn't have a TV at all, and then we just kind of like kept up with that, and so we didn't have a TV, and now you can watch shows through a laptop or the internet, but then you really couldn't. Um, and so this reminds me a bit going back to that time where we just kind of like turn everything off and we're just very analog and just enjoyed each other's company. And so it's been reminding me, a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, when things are quiet and things are still, that is a different type of interaction. I think both of us were still are, but in different ways now, incredibly busy people, and using this as an opportunity to remind ourselves that busyness does not equal success, and
Mhm.
we're able to really kind of remember how much we actually get along and not just work well together. I think to be locked up in a house with someone, it's a blessing to genuinely enjoy someone's company. So we've been feeling very grateful at night that we actually get most of the time.
Yeah, and I mean, outside of being at an all-inclusive resort, you really don't ever spend this much time together with your significant other. Like,
It's
literally.
a lot of time. It's a lot of time.
Only exception is you don't have all the awesome restaurants and unlimited booze, right?
True.
Yeah, it's a
True.
lot of time and it's a lot of dishes.
Oh my gosh, yes. Can we
It
talk about
is. It is still a bit like unlimited drinks, though.
depending on how deep you're stocked completely?
Yeah, I made a hotel tango run before this all hit.
One, I love it. Yeah, so I think one of the things that you mentioned that really resonated with me is like you realize that busy does not mean wait, what how did you say that?
Like equating busyness with being successful, or
Right.
that you're supposed to be busy. And I feel, and again, this is a privilege that we're all healthy and we have money and we have food here, but I feel as fulfilled in the last 2 or 3 weeks as I did bouncing around from meeting to meeting to meeting. um, it, this is really what matters, and being able to lean into that has been pretty refreshing in some ways.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, think about the amount of driving that I would do, and right, like I'm right there with you. I was bouncing from meeting to meeting to meeting. I'm like, oh my gosh, the amount of stuff that I can get done, like walking down the stairs in my house within the first hour and a half of the day. It's just like it's
yeah,
so I want to ask Ryan, for people that are listening who may not have listened to the first episode that we all recorded together or may not be familiar with you. You are also the host of Creative Mornings here in Indianapolis. That very much relies on people being together in a room, specifically a room of creatives, right? Who ostensibly might be more extroverts that really thrive off of this interaction with others. So how have you had to pivot that, and what are you looking to do to kind of keep that community going right now?
yeah. It's been incredibly difficult. I think a lot about my role in the various communities, and we sort of talked about my role in this house and in our nuclear family, and Creative Mornings is another family structure, and that's kind of split into two. There's sort of my responsibility as the leader to the team, the 15 to 20 of us, that really a tight knit group. I've really been concentrating on them in the immediate aftermath of all of this, because a lot of them are gig workers, have multiple jobs in the hospitality industry, in the event industry, and they're like, we're really hurting right now as a team in terms of some economic anxiety, and it's kind of a self-selected group of extroverts, so a lot of them. And this has been difficult. We're a close community, close family. We get together a lot, and we've really had to do a good job, almost like old school kind of phone tree type of thing, where we're all checking in with each other, and chats as much as we can. But like you mentioned, this is a community built on face-to-face gathering, so we have had to make some adjustments. In terms of the broader community, uh, you know, one of the things I really felt convicted about immediately was like taking a breath and not feeling a need to immediately push out a whole bunch of communication, because there was so much communication going on at first that to catch our breath and figure out where we could best serve the community. And one of the things we kind of identified as a leadership team is reducing redundancy. That there's a lot of people doing a lot of really good things in Indianapolis, and that to help people that are struggling through this crisis, and to just keep up, this sense of community and organizational kind of institutional stability. So what we decided was, rather than trying to own an idea, we would use the platform we have to kind of shine on stuff that's already happening, people that are already doing amazing things in the city. So we kind of read feature, which is where we once a month had chosen someone in the community to shine a bunch of light on them and spread love and awareness on the work that they're doing. So we're doing that once a week now. We're featuring a small business every Friday. We're just trying to use our platform to kind of focus on other people for the time being. For April, we are going to do a virtual event at the end of the month that's going to be centered around the theme of purpose, which is really appropriate right now. So we're fleshing out the details of that. But I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to, when we can do hugs and high fives and donuts and coffee together again. But that's not the reality of the situation right now. And we're just doing the best that we can. But, my first loyalty was to the immediate family, the 15 or 20 people that are part of running that organization. And then we collectively figured out how to take care and do our part for the broader community.
Got it. And we're closing in on half an hour here. I want to touch back on some stuff that you mentioned, Andrea, just as resources for parents. Like I mentioned when we first started talking, I myself don't have kids, but I'm sure that people that are listening either have themselves or are friends with other people that have kids that were in school, some that may need some of those programs that you talked about. You said that they're still offering school lunches, you said, every day. So where can people go to find resources like that, and like how are those being distributed?
That's a good question. And so we're using a very low contact to no contact approach. But on the myips.org website, there all of the parks that are offering lunches are linked through there, as well as all of our school sites that are offering lunches and meals. And then of course, folks should always, call 211. Just like you can dial 911 from your phone, you can dial 211 and be connected to a lot of the community resources that are out there, whether that's in terms of meals for children or assistance with paying bills for your things like water and heat and those types of things, as well as a plethora of other resources to support financial needs and food needs during this time.
Wonderful. And we're not playing rapid fire during these YouTubes, but I still have a couple of quick questions. We'll call it quick questions, not rapid fire. Quick questions. So right now, what keeps you calm, right? During these times where if you're watching the news or you're paying attention to everything that's going on, it's like very easy to get all scrambled and flustered with everything that's coming at you. But what is helping keep you both calm?
Not watching the news. But really, like, I let myself look at the news, in the evening, and that's it. Like, one time, like, I cannot be looking at it all day long. Turned off alerts on my phone and computer. It's just not helpful to be inundated in this 24-hour news cycle right now. And so that's one of the things. And then I also love to read. And so I've been doing a lot of reading. We've been reading together. We've been reading with the kids. And so just taking time to do something that's kind of slow and relaxing.
Yeah, we kind of decided maybe the first or second week that experiencing this in real time maybe it wasn't the healthiest thing. and that the internet has really changed the way we would absorb information like this, and it is important to be informed, but you can inform yourself and know at the end of the day, as opposed to bringing all that grief on through every moment of the day.
Right. So you mentioned books. I've been reading quite a bit during this whole time. What are you guys reading?
Well, right now we're reading The Nickel Boys, which I'm about. Colson Whitehead book. It's very, very good. It has a twist ending, but it's a really good book. I'm rereading it because I wanted to experience it with Ryan. So that's a book that I would highly recommend, folks.
Okay. All right.
Addie and I just read, what was it?
Ghost Boys.
Mm-hmm. That one was really good. I'm reading a book about kind of the relationship between nature and faith, which is really interesting right now. Yeah.
All right. I'm on Harry Potter book 1, almost done.
Nice.
I didn't even make it through that, so.
Oh man, it's getting good. I'm getting to the meat of the book right now, I think. What it feels like the meat of the book. Okay, outside of reading, have you been watching anything, like binging any shows, binging any movies, binging any music? I've been binging all of the above. I
got Andrea a record player for her birthday right before this happened. So we have been listening to vinyl, which is, again, like just such an interesting experience, not being able to change the song, like having to be very intentional about the music that you choose. Like it seems kind of serendipitous that happened, but yeah, that's been such a different experience.
We've been we really don't watch a lot of television in the Hunley house, and so as a family we've been binging MasterChef Junior, which has been great. It's also encouraging our kids to take even more risks in the kitchen, which is a win-win.
Yeah, now you can get them cooking you food and doing the dishes, right?
No doubt.
Is there a record specifically that you guys have listened to more than others?
Oh, I would say that Leon Bridges.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Yeah, and then someone dropped off an old Peter Gabriel record that was, I can't remember which one it was, but that one was really good too. House Mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one's been in heavy rotation.
All
and
right.
the Solange.
And what was the last one?
Solange. Mm-hmm.
And what about food? I know you guys have been cooking, but I know one big thing right now is we're all trying to support our local restaurants, make sure that they stay afloat during this time. Is there anything that you guys have had that's carry out or delivery that you've really enjoyed during this time?
Yeah, so we have been purchasing gift certificates, been one, so that we can either give those to others or use them once all of this lifts. And then we've been getting our groceries from Wildwood, and their no contact pickup has been great. Just because there are people in our household who are immunocompromised or in high risk population. We just have to be extra careful during this time. And I just appreciate how our food community has been innovative in order to support folks.
Yeah, I mean, Craig and Emily have just been, they're always incredible, but through this entire kind of crisis have been so impressive the way that they've juggled their responsibility to the people that they serve and the health of their own family. Yeah, I've just been, not just them, everyone, but especially been so impressed with the way that they've run their business.
Awesome. I had pizza the other night, like right before now. I guess this was about a week and a half ago, right before Napoli shut down for the time being. And it was just like so thankful that we ordered it when we did, because it was literally like the next day they're like, and this is the last night that we're doing it. So
yeah.
I'm craving their double chopped salad. I'll tell you that.
Oh man. I just want butter in my life.
Wait. I didn't hear what you just said.
I said I just one more butterscotch latte in my life from
my gosh.
provider.
Dude, I would kill for one of those right now. And so, Andrew, one more question for you, and then we'll let you guys get out of here. You mentioned running for office was a goal. Is that a goal that was accomplished?
Well, I did get my name on the ballot, well, some people's ballots, because I'm running as a delegate, which is a one-time office that you kind of get to help nominate people for the party. But I highly doubt that there will be in-person convention this year. So, at least I accomplished my goal of getting my name on the ballot. But I'll definitely be trying again for another office another time.
That's wonderful. Yeah. If anything, it's just like you got to do it once. Now you've got that out of the way. Momentum's on your side, and now you do it again. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us. Is there anything that, last messages or any last kind of things that you want to get out there that people need to know during this time?
With everything that's out there on the internet right now, I would just really encourage people to take a social media break, to take a media break. And I did see something really that really spoke to me the other day. And someone said that, if you don't, if you come out of this this time and you don't have, a new side hustle, and you don't have, your whole house organized, and you don't have connections with all of your family in newer and deeper ways, like, okay, like we're all just doing our best. It's okay. You don't have to have a perfectly decorated house. You don't have to, learn to play the piano. You don't have to, have sewn, new clothing for the entire family. Like, it's okay to just do your best each and every day.
One thing we've been saying with the kids is like the sun's, and it may rise on something different than was before, but that's okay. But the sun's gonna rise. So
right.
We've been telling each other and telling the kids at night. So that's kind of stuck with me.
No, I love it. And I love the encouragement of just like maybe you can just be for this time, right? Like this is the only time where it's just like it's okay just to be. So it's like, yeah, give yourself the grace and like the permission to like maybe you don't have to do anything at all other than just like be there, right? So I love it. Yeah, again, thank you guys for coming back on the show. Kind of bummed that we couldn't do it in person, but I suppose this is the next best thing because we can see each other, right?
That's right, man. Hey, thanks for the work that you're doing.
Yes, thank you. Take care.
Yep, not a problem. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Stay healthy, and enjoy your time together.
Likewise. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Yeah.